Today we are going to be answering some frequently asked questions about our kitchen. So our countertops are made out of a material called solid surface. We actually debated quite a few different materials to use. We thought about using butcher block or perhaps concrete countertops, or I personally wanted to do quartz. But we ended up going with the solid surface because the price tag was very affordable and I really just wanted plain white. So that was an option with the solid surface. So we got our countertops from Lowe's. They had to come out and measure the space, and then they custom built the countertops for us, and they asked us when they were out here measuring if we wanted them to make a topper for the sink. So we thought that was actually a really good idea because it gives us extra countertop space, and so they custom made all of that for us. We didn't have to do anything. The top of the sink just slides off and slides back on. It pretty much stays there all the time when we're stationary, and we put it in between the stove and the couch when we're driving. So our lower cabinets were custom made by a friend named Travis. He does woodworking and he did a phenomenal job on our cabinets. I'm going to show you what he did for our silverware drawer. So you can open it up and you have the first divider with all of the silverware, but then he also did an extra layer in it. So there's a whole nother set of dividers here. And then he also did a soft close on it so that it can't slam shut, which is super nice. This is our garbage. This drawer was custom made to fit around the plumbing in our sink. So you can see it has a portion on either side, a short portion in the middle, and then a hole so it fits around the plumbing underneath our sink. This is just a spot for cookie sheets. And then this is our dishwasher. And this portion opens up both sides, and this is all just storage underneath for our pots and pans as well. So that is our lower cabinets. And then this little cabinet over here was made specifically for our spices and our taller soaps. And then, okay, the top portion is a mess right now, so ignore that. But this is actually a charging port. So we have all of our boxes behind there, and these plug into it, and we can charge all of our electronics from this. We actually just had, it still needs a little bit of painting, ignore that, but we actually just had this pulled out when we were redoing our floors, so we haven't got everything plugged back in yet, but that is what that little cabinet is for, our spices and a charging area. So that's our lower cabinets. So we talked a little bit about what our countertops are made out of, and now we're going to talk about how long they are. So our bus is 45 foot long and 8 foot wide, and our countertops
are your standard 25.5
inches.
And this one is 80.5. But the cabinets underneath only go back to about here, which makes the cabinets only about 21.5 inches wide, because there's a cavity back here all along here that we ran our plumbing and electrical, anything else we can run in that cavity. It's back there, the drains are back there. And over here again, it's your standard 25
inches
by 36 3/4.
So when we were looking at getting our countertops built, one thing we found out is most of your big box stores are going to have a minimum requirement for you to buy, and usually it's around 25 square feet. Our countertops were only about 22 square feet, so we were about 3 feet short. And that included the little piece of countertop over there on our smaller counter. But because we ended up having them make the topper for our sink, we hit the minimum requirement needed for them to build our countertops. And we had our countertops done at Lowe's. So if you need extra square footage for them to do your countertops, that's a good option, is to have the sink topper built if you're doing an apron front sink. So the last thing we are going to cover is our ceiling. We get asked a lot of questions about what materials we used for our ceiling. So Andrew's going to tell you a little bit about it.
So this is just a pine tongue groove beadboard. It's about 1/4 inch thick.
And it came just natural wood colored, so we painted it ourselves once we got it up on the ceiling.
And we actually did the ceiling first so that the whole bus from front to back is the same material. And as I applied it, everywhere there's a rib that goes against the coach, so side to side, I put a seam so that if something happened, I could pull down just that seam all the way across. If I was to redo this again, because there's not a lot of structure there, I would actually go with like a very thin plywood and mount it to the ribs the same way that I have done this, and then mount each one of these boards to that plywood so that it gives it a little more structure.
So why do you want more structure? What's wrong with the way it is right now?
Right here where our lights are, you can see that this piece here is kind of coming down and it doesn't fit in there very well. So I'm actually going to have to figure out a way to make that hold together a little better. It's just one of those pet peeves, and I'm a perfectionist when it comes to some of those things, so I like to have it look aesthetically really good, but also be structurally sound so it doesn't fall on our head.
All right. Thank you.